feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't run away.
Epstein file. Here we go. So there is. Can I see who put this out? What's the name of the channel? Here we go.
Before we get into the deep stuff, let's give some basics or some things I want to do inquiry from the others. Walk me through the Santa Fe Institute. What was it about the time of the math? And this was in the late 90s. So they're not going to hear.
I'm trying to get some timestamps here. Let's get some timestamps. Is there anything
deeply fucked up with you?
At least something.
Well, we know there are things deeply fucked up with this. You will get through in this film,
right.
But you cannot possibly have sit there, knowing that you came from nowhere, knowing that you went to the very top of what is considered outside of science and maybe physics, the thing people most admire because it's like alchemy, understanding high finance. To sit there in what will be the defining financial crisis of our time, like Black Friday or Black
Yes.
Monday, whatever it was, in the Great Depression. See a Bear Stearns, you just thought was a Bear Stearns problem. You didn't see it.
So I think a lot of this conversation is financial stuff. I'm trying to see like if they ever ask him about the creepy shit, no?
It's so 300 years ago they said that unexplainable realm was God. And people who attempted, in fact, to explain the unexplainable, who said, yes, I understand the unexplainable, were charlatans. They were the occults. They were the astrologers. They were the con men.
Alchemist.
Yes. Well, no, alchemist was, in fact, they believed that there was a way to transmute one metal into another. In fact, they always wanted to see if they can create gold. There's no reason, if you think about it, they recognize that one metal is different than another metal because it has some additional pieces to it. It has additional neutrons or protons or electrons. So because they thought it was a machine, they believed it was a machine, if I can take 5 protons and add 5, that gives me 10, I should be able to get gold. Move everything around inside these systems, the molecules transmute one molecule into another, and if this molecule I've transmuted it into is gold, I'm a rich man. It's back to money. But there's something strange happens. Isaac Newton says, this is really weird. If I want to push a ball on the table, I have to touch it. Maybe I have to blow on it. But I actually have to push one side of the ball or the book to move that side. I'm pushing here, and obviously this thing is what appears to us humans to be solid, so it moves as one thing. But the only way to get something to move was to touch it or put a force against it. Okay.
Now, I'm getting a little synopsis of what this interview was. He kind of like, in more than one way, he spells out like why he's kind of like this financier type of successful guy. But those successes, if you kind of think about what he's accused of, you could see how he probably finagled himself into, what is this? Oh, wow. He finagled himself into having like this y'all need me type of thing. Somebody sent me a thing with pictures in it. I don't know if these pictures are really worth even showing. A lot of stuff is redacted. Remember, anything that's nude, anything that's also underage is definitely going to be redacted fully.
Seems to make sense. Everybody has that experience. I want to lift a glass, I lift it. If I want to push a ball, I push it. If I want to pull a ball, I pull it. But he recognized when
Chef Facts, thank you for becoming a monthly supporter of Rumble.
The ball fell off the table, it went in a different direction.
I'm interested. I'm trying to...
Library, but you're in jail. No, I was in jail, not prison.
Okay, now he's talking about his jail time. Here we go.
we have is the financial crisis, the crash of 2008. Sunday afternoon, September 14th, I think it was, 2008, is when they were working feverishly in Midtown Manhattan at the Lehman Brothers offices and at various law firms around town, and with the Secretary of Treasury and the Federal Reserve, what they're going to do with Lehman. They decided they weren't going to save it. And so they prepared to put it into bankruptcy at the open of the market in London the next day.
This might be a financial interview.
How did you hear about what was going to happen to Lehman Brothers, and what did you immediately think when you heard that it was going to be put into bankruptcy?
I'm glad you asked that question. I was in solitary confinement.
Ooh. Okay.
September 14th. And again, some of the public stories about the wonderful time I had in jail, and my
Yeah, so the idea that he could leave jail whenever, like, was supposedly this really looked like posh type of thing. He's saying the opposite. He said he was in solitary confinement.
Work release, which didn't come till months after. I'd been there since June.
So he's saying he was only able to leave the jail once he got to work release, but people feel like, nah, you was able to do whatever, bro.
8x10 cell with a bed in the back, a 6-foot bed in the back, a chrome sink with a toilet attached to it, and a little piece of metal sticking out that was supposed to act as a table. Now, since I was in jail, there were no books. Why? There's no library. No library, but you're in jail. No, I was in jail, not prison. So in jail, I was in a place what's called the Special Housing Unit, which is for the roughest, toughest, meanest people. They had put me there, they said, for my own protection. So I was in a 8x10 cell with a little slit in the door where they would serve my food on a tray about 9 inches by 4 inches. And then as soon as I finished eating, they would take the tray and close it down. And one of the guards said, do you understand there's Wall Street's crashing. I'm worried about my pension fund. What should I do? And I said, sorry, Wall Street's crashing? What's happened? And he said, there's some crisis and some companies are going bankrupt. I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, it's all over the papers. We're all terrified we're going to lose our life savings because we have either a 401k or our pension funds. We don't know anything about money. Mr. Epstein, can you tell us, like, what's going on? Am I going to be able to afford my children's education? Am I going to be bankrupt like this company called Lehman Brothers? And there's
I want to hear him talk more about prison.
No.
Brown jumpsuit and flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
In New York City, taking calls from...
They're afraid people are going to hang themselves with the phone cord.
What? That's what he ended up doing, allegedly.
So it never struck you when you had to make one of your 50% of your collect calls that day, you call the president or the head of the CEO of Bear Stearns, the biggest financial event.
So he's doing business while locked up, and I think that's why people are like, "Come on, bro! Like you weren't locked up. Like you're doing huge business while locked up."
In your life is taking place, of which one, every important person in the world would be seeking your opinion. Number two would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to apply your craft. Number three, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make money if you were smart, and obviously you're smart. You're telling me here, truthfully, that it never hit you at all of how you'd ended up in a place where you had to make a collect phone call from a jail cell that was 6x9 with a steel bed and your food being passed in through a slot.
The question you want to ask is, who was the other call to?
Okay, who was the other call to?
The other call was...
There's a little bit of pompousness with it. Like, well, maybe I'm reading him wrong, but like, he says he kind of preempts that guy confirming the question by saying, you should be asking me who's my second call to. And he's kind of like, in a very shrewd way, he's kind of like showing how powerful he is, right? Like he's showing like, yeah, I know I'm locked up. I only get 2 calls a day. You want to know what my first call was to? You want to know what my second call is? And by the way, it was a huge day. I think it was during the financial crisis in Wall Street. So he's kind of showing like, Yo, Rolodex long. Pause. You know what I mean? Like his contact list was super long. Pause.
Was to my friend at J.P. Morgan.
You see? By the way, if you looked at it, remember, let's go back to justice.com and let's go through it again and go to court records. It's a reason he says he calls J.P. Morgan. We're going to see who. The government of the United States of Virgin Islands, or United States of America, but Virgin Islands. So the Virgin Islands government, but still the United States. They sued J.P. Morgan. If you could imagine calling the guy who runs Chase.
Who was then, I didn't know it at the time, trying to buy Bear Stearns. So at one point, I had 2 phones. It was difficult because they're afraid people are going to hang themselves with the phone cord. So they don't actually come together and they're pretty short. So I was actually going between 2 phones talking to Bear Stearns and J.P. Morgan at the same time.
Wow.
So I found it amusing.
And it never struck you about how to end up in a situation like this?
No, that would be probably means I would be too self-aware.
You can't possibly expect me to believe this.
I know. I don't believe it.
You're telling me that during that day, you never had a moment. You sat there and go, what the fuck have I done with my life that I'm in a 6x9 jail cell when I should be on a trading desk or I should be in my $250 million greatest townhouse in New York City taking calls from the king of Saudi Arabia,
Wow.
the president of China,
Wow.
the head of Russia, the president of the United States to save the world's population from a financial debacle. You honestly expect me to believe that never happened?
You're suggesting I was sort of somewhat depressed, and how could this happen to me?
I'm not saying depressed. I'm saying a moment of awareness of how could I get myself into this situation.
No, I would just say how strange that this happens. It's strange. I'm wearing a jumpsuit and flip-flops.
What
given
color
to
was
me.
the jumpsuit?
Brown. Brown.
Brown jumpsuit.
Yes.
I notice I don't see you in a lot of brown.
No.
Brown jumpsuit and flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yes.
With no access to books, no access to newspapers,
No access to anything.
You had lived on information.
Except my Almond Joy bars. I had extra Almond Joy bars.
Did you eat Almond Joy bars and things like that because you're afraid of what the cooks did to your food?
Yes.
Is that because of that you were in for the crimes that you were in for?
No, it was just in fact, I was...
Is it because you're wealthy?
Yes.
How did
So I
you...
guess he's trying to say they used to fuck with his food because he's wealthy. That's gonna be another theory. Maybe they poisoned his ass, right? Well, obviously they said he hung himself, but
know that?
Well, people would constantly come if I was passing by or have to go for my medical. People would either ask to borrow money or make some other types of comments about.
In
the beginning,
what were the comments? At the beginning, what were the comments?
it serves you fucking rich guys right that you're here next to me.
There was nothing about your crimes.
No.
So all this rumor you hear all the time about people in prison that commit the type of crimes you commit, you're saying in your personal thing is not true.
No.
It was all because you were rich.
so he's saying that they didn't want to beat his ass. Listen. Let's go back to what he was convicted for, right? So, I mean, we could look through the official. Actually, we should look at the official charging document. We already got his stuff here, right? So, not DOJ disclosure. Let's go to court records. If you go to court records, it should be, I forgot what county. It should be a county. Or maybe it's just Palm Beach. Okay, Palm Beach. Epstein. Yes, all this shit's Epstein. I want to see his original indictment. State of Florida. Okay, that sounds good. State of Florida. It's probably this, right? State of Florida. And this is on a separate page. Oh my God. Yo, Department of Justice, you guys couldn't like fucking, like name these things? 005. Okay, so this is a true bill. So this is him get indicted What is he? Okay, he gets indicted for number one, count one, felonious solicitation of prostitution. Okay, that's it. I thought it was more. Let's see. Let me go back and check this one. Oh, he only got one charged. Wow. So, the documentary on this guy is crazy. They tried to get him, so the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? So that's St. Thomas, what's the other island name? St. James. But in that cluster is this island that is technically the property of the United States, but it is owned wholly by Jeffrey Epstein. Now, for all government affairs there, and by the way, how people used to get there, Jeffrey Epstein would fly in via private jet, right? And he would fly into the main island, then he would take a helicopter to there, right? That was how he was doing it. And if there was a crime that got committed there, unless the feds went in, usually basically what happened is that the local authorities on the island, the main island, would do the investigation. Now, remember I told you about islands, even though, yes, it is the United States, it's not the best investigation. Also, the women or the girls, they weren't that coming forward. And also, supposedly, even the mothers, they may have been receiving some residuals because this guy's really rich. And people were kind of hesitant to go forward with trying to build a case. So they didn't really get him. There was reports. There was 100% a lot of reports about what he was doing on the island. But, other than a few calls and stuff of the sort, there wasn't charges that was brought. Actually, I think there was about to be charges brought. I forgot what happened. There was about to be charges brought, and there's a documentary on it. The detective said after they brought the evidence to who would bring the charges, they got told listen, don't go barking up that tree. Essentially, like the local authorities, that would be patrolling the fucking island and saying, yo, this guy's too powerful. He owns the fucking island. Leave it alone. He gets caught and indicted in Florida, okay? And he gets indicted locally in Florida. And then this thing is the clusterfuck of a century. So let me see if I can find that last document, which would be probably the sentencing thing. And we're going to see redactions out the wazoo. And pardon me if I'm talking too much with my white voice. I'm trying to be really proper in trying to break this down, all right? This ain't nigga time. You got to learn how to code switch a bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So all this shit was sealed. Okay, here we go. No, this is grand jury unsealing. They had sealed most of this shit. All right. I'm not gonna do too much clicking. We'll just get back to the interview. Oh, this is unsealing a grand jury testimony. All right, whatever. Okay, cool. It's probably up a bit more because this is, what year is this? They're talking about grand jury testimony. Yeah, this is 2019. Yeah. This happened back in 2006. So 2006, he gets indicted. Actually, I could probably find it. I want to find the sentencing document. That shit was crazy. Okay, is this still 2006? Let's see. It responds to. Okay, is there a time on this? No, there's no time. I can't find the time. Because niggas want to know how he got that sweetheart deal. All right. I'm not going to bore you with doing a bunch of clicking. Let's watch the video because the video is kind of a little bit engaging, right?
Yes.
And it was all because they wanted to borrow money.
Or get advice. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I say it's a court 2008 document. Oh, thank you for that, by the way. Yeah, if you guys help me navigate, it will be definitely more beneficial. Thank you, guys. Okay, so if we go back here, and then we go back here. No, is that another back? Right here. So I guess it would be 2008. I guess it gets resolved here, right? Or unless it's the same charge. Is it another charge? Let's do the first one again. Yeah, procuring prostitution. Oh, did I look at the wrong thing? Yeah, procuring prostitution under 18. And they're saying between he did knowingly unlawfully procure prostitution from somebody under the age of 18. Okay, let me see if I can find how this shit ended. Okay, so maybe he had 2 cases. The motion to file under seal is granted. So they fucking sealed the whole thing. Right? They sealed the whole thing. Okay, let me see if we can finally figure out what was sealed. And it's really the sentence and then like the ending. Dear Mr. Epstein, who is this? Florida Department of... You're hereby notified you have completed your terms of service and you're no longer required. You're not under the supervision of the Department of Justice. If your rights are restored. Okay. Okay, so that's them saying you're no longer in custody. What is this? Some other shit. To authorize travel. Yeah, so usually with a case, like for example, like even though 6ix9ine court shit and got sentenced like in 2020, 2020, or 2018 actually. No, 2020. His new things with his case, like probation violation, still gets filed under that same case. So it's probably one of these for the sentencing. I'm not gonna look it up too crazy, but all this shit is. Oh, here we go. The state of Florida charged him with prostitution. Then they came to a negotiated resolution. Yo, you ever heard that? Oh yeah, we negotiated the resolution with him. Yeah, you ever heard that? Oh yeah, we charged Pooh Shiesty with shooting somebody, but we negotiated with it. All right, or maybe that's their verbiage for plea. Part of that resolution included an agreement entered. See, this is crazy. So chat, let me try to explain this in like regular terms. You get charged. So Palm Beach is a county, right? That's where the rich and famous live in Florida, South Florida. He gets charged with fucking kids, prostitution of kids. They come to a plea deal, but the plea deal is a really odd plea deal. It becomes what's called a global plea deal. Actually, it's odd, but I'm gonna give you another example of that happening. Young boy's case in Utah, when he caught local drug case, because he had a federal case for guns, his lawyer figured out how to do a global plea that satisfied the local case and also worked with the United States of America in his federal case and resolved everything. Now, the thing with this, we don't know about a federal case yet. So essentially, that's the odd part, right? So essentially, this motherfucker, and this is the thought, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I think I'm going to say this right. He gets caught by a county, and as part of the plea deal, he signs a deal with the United States of America, supposedly that they can't prosecute him for nothing. So he basically, like, it's almost like wiping your slate clean before you even get charged. And I don't know how he did it, but apparently he got really powerful friends, because I guess he probably realizes, hey, if they're arresting me here for procuring prostitution, a Fed charge starts with a few requirements. One of the main requirements is transporting, first of all, affecting interstate commerce, and you have to have interstate travel or something of the sort. So going from Florida to U.S. Virgin Islands, that's a Fed case. So even though he's getting off, technically, or not technically, but he's getting a sweetheart deal at Palm Beach County, the feds could pick it up. So not only is he going to do this sweetheart plea with Palm Beach County, somehow he works out that the feds can't come. Which, this is how much you can tell this nigga's really a creep and a fucking weirdo and a rapist, right? They basically catch his hand in the cookie jar, give him the lightest sentence ever. They signed something to say, we won't even come get you. You probably did mad shit, but we won't come get you for it. Just don't do it again. This fucking creep did it mad more times. And that's how he got busted, right? So look, they came to the state of Florida, remember that state charges, came to an agreement with, and then part of the agreement he entered with the United States of America, which is feds. At the plea conference in state court, he pled guilty to the state charges. At the plea conference, But the agreement between Mr. Epstein and the United States were made part of a court record. That agreement was sealed in 2 separate filings. I got to see that. I got to see. This is the craziest thing we've ever seen. So that's the thing people said, this is Illuminati shit. This is how we know he got somebody who's powerful in the government. He got them on 4K video getting a dick sucked by a 14-year-old. Facts. Because how the hell do you have an agreement? I got to find it. I know I'm about to do a bunch of clicking, but I got to find it. Nobody's ever seen this shit before. This is why they believe that it's powerful niggas who told their Department of Justice at the time, sign that shit. By the way, let me figure this out too. Hold on. This is 2009. Okay, so this is around 2009. Okay, 2009. This is all important, chat. This is all important. I know y'all probably like, yo, Ak, we're so fucking tired of you. Chat, please. This is great work. What am I looking up? So this is how it worked federally. The top lawyer in the land is a U.S. Attorney General. The administration basically sets the agenda. The Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives, they set the laws. The Supreme Court and all federal courts interpret the law. And that's how it works. So if I'm looking who to look up to see where the Illuminati shit is. So if he gets in trouble in the state, this is 2000, what? When are you getting the plea? 2009? Let's figure out who is the U.S. Attorney General. So for you to get that deal with the feds, that means the U.S. Attorney General, who controls, pretty much controls the Department of Justice, right? I got to make sure I'm saying all the things I'm saying right. U.S. Attorney General controls DOJ, right? Am I right? Yeah, it's the head of the DOJ. Okay, good. I know. Okay, so the U.S. Attorney General, right? So who Trump's pick, I think Pam Bondi still U.S. Attorney General. Who is current U.S. Attorney General? Pam Bondi, yeah. Okay, so for Epstein to get this deal, the Department of Justice has to agree with it. Who runs the Department of Justice? The U.S. Attorney General. Who does U.S. Attorney General report to? The president at the time. So if this is 2009, I feel like isn't that Barack? Wait, who is the president in 2009? Now, it's going to get a little tricky because Barack takes over in 2008. When was this deal kind of done? Even though they're saying that this proffer was, or not proffer, well, I guess it is proffer. It was done supposedly in these secret meetings, right? They came to the state of Florida, in the United States, whatever. Did they give a time on this? Yeah. Okay, we're just going to assume that it's 2009, right? A hearing was 2009, right? After giving an opportunities, the courts find as following, is it 2009 or 2008? Because the only thing that matters, was it George Bush's DOJ or was it Barack's DOJ? So if it's Barack's DOJ, who was the Attorney General in 2009? That would be Eric Holder. So respectfully, if it happened in 2009, that means Barack gave approval. Well, he probably didn't necessarily give approval. I don't know if this turned to that big of a thing, but I'm pretty sure Eric Holder could make that decision, and that's why he was hired by Barack. So Eric Holder would be the person. Let me see, Eric Holder Epstein. Let's look up that Eric Holder Epstein. Wow, this is where you get down like some Netflix shit. You ever watch some of these Netflix things and be like, nah, I could never have your eye, nigga. Former, they got brought in front of the House committee. Okay. Who? Holder floats impeachment over DOJ. Who was his former? Wait. Why wasn't? Wait. Who was that? Garland and Holders claim they have no knowledge. Yeah, it was capping, huh? Maybe it was Attorney General before. Let me look up. 2007. Alberto Gonzalez. Don't even sound like a name that people care about. Alberto Gonzalez. Jeffrey. One of these niggas gave him this deal that nobody's ever seen in history. And that's going to be the source of, here we go. They have no information? Like, who? Bush era. Attorney General speaks. I'm gonna just type in. I think there got to be an interview about it. Jeffrey Epstein plea deal, Palm Beach. That's what we need to see. Okay, here we go.
Well, all of this is renewing questions about how the late child predator avoided prison time here in Palm Beach County. Long before Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges in New York, his criminal case began here in Palm Beach and ended with a deal that remains one of the most controversial plea agreements in criminal justice history. This video that's showing the raid on the Palm Beach home back in 2005 as part of the original investigation after a 14-year-old girl had reported being sexually abused. Palm Beach police, they built the case involving dozens of local underage victims, but in 2008, Epstein avoided trial by pleading to a lesser state charge, serving just 13 months in jail with work release. Victims were never told about that deal, which also...
That was also the thing where people are saying, what? They said the victims were never told about the deal. That is a problem. That is the problem. Somebody says the Florida AG. No, it has to be someone from the Department of Justice. If they said with the United States of America. United States of America is feds. State is state. United States of America is feds. Okay? So Palm Beach, right? That DA, right? That DA, and by the way, there is a state attorney, but that DA within that county, Palm Beach, maybe they got to consult the state attorney, but they're giving a plea deal. They're giving a plea deal. They do deals like this all the time. They're not calling the state attorney for everything. Fonnie Willis is not calling. Look, who is the state attorney for Georgia? Fonnie Willis ain't calling this nigga before he charged YSL. No, it's her county. She could do what she wants. Now, granted, if it's something that has statewide implications, he will be involved. But other than that, Fonnie Willis, who's a district attorney, and she controls her county, Fulton County, she gonna charge whoever the fuck she wants. Who is the district attorney of Georgia? Not Georgia. Fulton County, actually. Fulton County. Fonnie Willis, All right, anyway.
Also protected unnamed associates of Epstein's. Attorney Spencer Kuvan, he represented several of the Epstein victims, talked to us tonight.
Okay, so basically, Epstein, who gave that deal?
When people hear about these Epstein files, a lot of people expect some shocking new revelations from a legal standpoint. What do you think these documents are actually expected to show?
I think a lot of these documents are going to show more of the similar material that we've seen so far. By that, what I mean is you're going to see a lot of legal documents. You're going to see, whether it be government or.
Well, all of
okay, let me. I want to fast track to it. And then I'm gonna get back to his shit too, though. Here we go. Oh.
Happened to them. Have accused of having sex.
To me, they will be discredited. They will be denied. It will be, fake news. It'll be questioned time and time again. We've seen that for the last 20 years. These victims have been.
Okay, so there's a guy named Acosta.
News legal analyst Ricky.
But I think Acosta, what's this guy's name? Acosta Epstein. Acosta Epstein. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole right here, Chad. I know some of y'all are going to be upset with me. So Acosta, Alexander Acosta, he was the assistant. Oh, he's the guy who gave it. Yes. So it was under George Bush. So here we go. In 2005, they raided his house. Okay. In 2008, right when Obama is about to take over, right? And usually what happens here is even when, I don't know if you guys know, so Trump is going to get out of here in what year? He's going to get out of here in 28. Let's say the Democrats win. The Democrats don't want Pam Bondi. But they can't just like fire her. I mean, they can, but like essentially they're going to pick someone to replace her. And that person has to get, I think attorney generals get confirmed, which means they got to go through some hearings and shit like that. And it's like a super background check. Does attorney generals need Senate confirmation? Do they? Yes. Okay. So essentially, think about this, which is this. I'm gonna lie. If y'all are conspiracy theorists, this is gonna really pique your interest. So George Bush serves, right, from 2000 to 2008. George Bush. If you don't know, a president on their last term, when they could no longer seek re-election, they're called a lame duck president. A lot of times, especially if someone in their party is going to take over, they'll kind of like the last year or two, they'll chill out because whatever, like if you sign a bunch of executive orders or like whatever agenda you have going on, the other president ain't going to march to the beat of your drum. Now, Trump is a little bit different. I'm going to tell you why. Trump, he has such a hold on the Republican party and this whole MAGA thing that his support means so much that even if he's not president, like say it's J.D. Vance, that nigga got to rock with whatever he's saying. So he's a little bit different. But a nigga like George Bush, he was out of here. And people are sick of the Republicans anyway. So why do I bring this up? In the year that we are bringing in a new president, which is about to be Obama gets... When did Obama first become president? In the year, actually the election was in 2008. So it's a year before, okay. He got inaugurated in 2009. I forgot how the inauguration schedule worked. Anyway, essentially in his last year though, right? In his last year, the attorney general that's appointed by Bush, knowing that Bush, remember, the president appoints an attorney general that runs the Department of Justice. Like if basically like if Trump tells his attorney general, our agenda is to have the FBI, all our federal organizations investigate this type of crime and then prosecute them with our U.S. attorneys, that's what's going to happen. The agenda of the president, the commander in chief, is usually followed by those other people. Okay. Now, of course, they still have to serve the American people and they have to have ethics and this and third. And if Trump technically tells them go arrest somebody, if there's no probable cause, technically they're not supposed to do it. But okay. So the lame duck president, George W. Bush, attorney general, signs a historic plea that is controversial. You essentially give this guy immunity for fucking kids, knowing that George W. Bush and you will be out of there momentarily. So no other president that comes in or a president that come in with pretty much their DOJ could fuck with it. That's some creepy shit. You get what I'm saying? So the guy who did it, and we got his Google shit. He was appointed as the assistant attorney general. So he was an assistant attorney general. Ironically, Trump put him as the Secretary of Labor. I would think this nigga is either a creep or he friends with the creeps. If you give the creep a get out of jail free card, you're either a creep or you're friends with the creeps. Anyway, Trump still put that nigga back in office in 2019, but in Secretary of Labor, he served as he was a U.S. attorney from Oh, he was a former, at that point, he was a former assistant U.S. Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division. So he used to work for the Attorney General. This is kind of a weird-ass deal. He wasn't even an assistant attorney general then. He was just a U.S. attorney. So he's a U.S. attorney. Okay. So even then, in 2008 or whenever, or 2008 when he does this, he's just the U.S. attorney. So remember the guy who charged Diddy? Damien, the black guy? Those guys hold a lot of power. Like, obviously for certain things, they got to go above them, which, so this is how it works. And it's so much, politics got the most drama, right? Like, for example, the woman Comey that was prosecuting Diddy, her father was James Comey. Trump don't like nothing about that family because that family was investigating him, trying to put him in jail. So when Trump got back in office, they fired her ass before. They're like, get her out of here, man. They got her out of there. But it kind of shows, and I don't know if, I'm like being mad convoluting here with how I'm speaking. It kind of shows not only drama that happens in politics and outside of like the hip hop world, which we usually stay in. It kind of shows that, bro, a lot of times when it comes to like law and order, it's about who you cool with and who's in power, right? Who you cool with and who's in power. The nigga you cool with is in power, you good. The nigga you not cool with is in power, you're fucked. You get what I'm saying? All right, bet. So cool. So now we kind of figure out who it was. Let me listen to this nigga right here. So he was the U.S. attorney at the time, but he was also a former U.S. attorney general. No, a former assistant U.S. attorney general. My bad. But he was working. How many assistant attorney generals are there? That's interesting to know. There's 11. Oh, wow. There's 11? AAGs, okay. So they're the step up before this one guy who reports straight to the president. So we have the attorney, so we have Donald Trump. I'm going to give you a hierarchy here. So Donald Trump, he controls, the attorney general. He's the executive branch. Donald Trump, attorney general. That's basically a United States lawyer. They have a bunch of assistant attorney generals. They have 11. And then from the 11 assistant attorney generals, you're going to get a bunch of U.S. attorneys for each state and for each district in each state or federal district in each state. So, okay. All right, bet. And then there's going to be in specific state, there could be, right? I got to make sure I'm right on this. Yeah, he was a U.S. attorney, not a state attorney. Okay, bet. Not a state or assistant state attorney general. All right, cool. All right, bet. Let's hear why this nigga gave him the deal.
Kleeman is with us. Ricky, you've prosecuted sex crime cases with adults and children. Headlines out of the Acosta press conference seem to be no apology, and also he says he proceeded appropriately, given the context.
All right, fuck all that, man.
That's exactly
so this was a deposition of Epstein where he talked about why he got that deal. So basically, the deal is a big deal because he fucking signed something with the United States saying as long as you never fuck a kid again, you're good, gang. Which is crazy, right? Like, I know R. Kelly's like, where my deal like that at? Yo, where my deal at? You know what I mean? Like, so this guy, they caught him red-handed. They said, bro, just sign on the dotted line and never fuck kids. And we will never put your ass back in jail. And he signed on the dotted line and he says, where's the next elementary school? The nigga went right there, gang. This nigga's crazy. But the U.S. government gave him that.
And it's been nearly 10 years since the disgraced billionaire admitted to paying for sexual massages from minors. Jeffrey Epstein only spent a little more than one of those years in jail. Now, one victim advocate says these new filings show the feds made a deal that favored Epstein and robbed these young women of their rights. He was a prominent Palm Beacher with nearly limitless resources. But for nearly a decade now, Jeffrey Epstein's name...
Wait, what the fuck? No, I clicked on the wrong thing? Sorry. Did I? I'm gonna watch that after. I thought he said something to I thought I clicked on that.
CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman is with us. Ricky, you've prosecuted sex crime cases.
Jeffrey Epstein had explained the deal. It was like in a Epstein explains sweetheart deal. There is a deposition of him. Here we go. This is Depo. Oh, it's the same thing. Maybe I should just watch the Depo. Like, Jesus Christ.
Felicia, that's deeply on state right until this month.
Okay,
a few weeks ago, the prosecutors entered into an agreement without their knowledge, and then.
So this is also very odd. So usually, if hopefully I've never been a victim of a crime, but when you're a victim of a crime, there is a lot of victim laws on the books that say you have a right to know. They have to notify you. It's kind of like even, hopefully you guys never been in a domestic situation or whatever, but they have to notify you if you're the victim, if the person that supposedly did something to you, if they're arrested, if they're released, they got to give you information about the case. You are entitled to it. In this particular case, the nigga fucks the kids, allegedly. We're not allegedly. I don't know exactly what the details were, but it was about procuring prostitution from kids. And he and the mothers of the kids did not get told about the plea. It was just like nobody cared.
Then covered it up until just days before Epstein entered his plea in court. Records show in a 2007 interview, Jane Doe told federal agents, quote, "I hope nothing happens to Jeffrey because he's an awesome man and it would really be a shame." The interview was conducted in front of an attorney on Epstein's bankroll.
I think it shows that Jeffrey Epstein tried.
Oh, Jeffrey was paying for the lawyers for the
prosecution
girls.
Agreement in.
Oh, all right. We might have to watch this after. Okay, cool. So let me just play this Acosta thing.
An hour.
And after this, I'm going back to that main interview, and then I think we're gonna wrap it. We still got mad other topics. We got to talk about Kanye and J. Cole.
Today, the U.S. Secretary.
That we proceeded.
Okay, so this is the guy who gave the deal, right? I'm thinking he's a little bit creepy already. Like, come on now, bro. Here we go.
Unusually lenient. Earlier this week, federal prosecutors in New York brought new charges of sex trafficking against Epstein. Today, Acosta defended his handling of the 2008 case.
We believe that we proceeded appropriately, that based on the evidence, and not just my opinion, but I've shared the affidavit, based on the evidence, there was value to getting a guilty plea and having him register.
So also he did register as a sex offender, I believe.
I understand what the victims say, and I'm not here to try to say that I can stand in their shoes or that I can address their concerns. I'm here to say we did what we did because we wanted to see Epstein go to jail. He needed to go to jail.
Here with us now to delve into Secretary Acosta's comments and other developments in the Jeffrey Epstein case are our own Yamiche.
Okay, so they basically said, the nigga is basically saying, I promised to not lock him up again as long as he took some jail time and don't touch no more kids and register as a sex offender. And this is a fucking billionaire. Think you gonna tell a billion? Yo, Diddy was being investigated for all them drugs. Diddy had the freak off supplies when he got locked up. Like, you would think that, yo, Diddy, they're investigating you for a freak off, baby oil and shit like that. Maybe you don't want to have it when they lock you up. The nigga had all that shit there, bro. All of that shit, bro. Okay. Oh, shit. All right, there's a little bit more here.
Exchange.
All right, cool. We can close that. Is it this? No. Is it this? Yeah.
Where they get advice to
Which
to
stock-
go long, to go
which-
long.
yes,
Are you
is it-
telling me
is this time to buy?
You're telling me in solitary confinement they're interested in going long?
Yeah. They want to know
What
what
does that say
stocks.
about human nature?
Well, what I think that people find, one of the reasons they wanted to keep me in solitary confinement was they're afraid that everybody would want to know which stocks to buy. But what happened was, after this crisis, now it's on the front page of every newspaper.
I don't want to lose this day.
Sorry.
When you first heard that, was it Bear Stearns had been kicked into bankruptcy, what, 6 months before?
Okay,
No,
chat.
it's just the same time.
Now there is some. This is some spicy shit, chat. Watch this. Oh my god. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me give a little bit of my opinion. I do want to leave a lot of things open ended for you guys to, and I want to use allegedly and also say that give the context, because some of this stuff might be true and some of this stuff might be a little bit BS, right? Especially like we read this in the mention the Pusha T and Jay-Z thing. Could be real, could be BS. And the reason why I say could be real, could be BS. This is a thing from a crisis tip line. Like there's not much follow up other than somebody saying it. And also, when asked if you want to give her your address that we could follow up with you in this and third, she said no. Right. So this is a little bit do you believe, do you not? Now again, apparently, and from I'm seeing people send me stuff here. This ain't the first time or the only time Jay-Z supposedly mentioned. This is, to me, the most important part right here, Chad. Oh, man. Look at this. So, okay. Wait, fuck. Watch this. And I wonder how y'all think about Jay-Z after this, okay? Now, what have I always told y'all about Jay-Z? I said this idea that Jay-Z is for black empowerment has always, in my opinion, been a myth. I think Jay-Z has always hit us with his cultural currency and told us, yo, listen, man, they hating on the black man. They hating on us. And at the end of the day, he gets an opportunity. He gets a big check, and it's all about him. Yo, we done with kneeling. We passed that. Yo, by the way, I'm running the Super Bowl now. Yo, fuck Spotify. Fuck Apple. We need to support Tidal. This is one for the artist, by the artist. Black people are running shit now. Oh, I sold it to Sprint. I got a board on the seat of Square. Yeah, me and Jack Dorsey are friends. I've told you guys this a million times. I just seen something. I wonder if this is. Listen to this, chat. Let me read this. Oh wow, here we go. Look. Now, of course, it's posted by Diddy Doc. I think a lot of people who probably either support Diddy or cover Diddy, they're like, yo, Jay kind of snaked Diddy a little bit, in their opinion. All right. So this is an email from Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And it's from Jess Stolle to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, it's important that we look up who all these people are, right? Because we need to be, abreast of who the fuck we're talking about. Jess Stolle. Who is that? Now, Jess Stolle is an American banker and the former CEO of the Barclays. Now, that name might actually ring a bell. Barclays. Jess Stolle. Barclays. He became the CEO of the Barclays in 2015. Why did he leave the Barclays? He left in 2021. Okay. Let's do some more research, right? So from 2015 to 2021, Jess Stolle is the CEO of Barclays. I don't know. There's something called the Barclays Center. When was the Barclays Center built? Well, it was built between 2010 and 2012, right? Construction started in 2010, and it was officially open in 2012. But we should probably, I don't know if, I've always heard Barclays. I still don't know what the company does. Let's look it up. Barclays. What is the Barclays? So the Barclays, let's look it up. It's a British multi-universal bank. Its headquarters in London. It operates in 5 divisions. UK consumer, corporate, private, and wealth management. Okay. Traces its origin to something in London. Okay, Barclays. Now, That's interesting. Now, in the sponsorship in 2007, the Barclays agreed to a 20-year naming rights for $400 million for the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It's now the home of the Brooklyn Nets. 2 years later, due to the slump of the economy, the deal was negotiated to $200 million. Interesting. Now, if anybody remembers at that time, there was a huge thing about gentrification. And I don't know if y'all remember these videos. Jay-Z did one on, let's see, Jay-Z rooftop. It was a rooftop. It was a rooftop when he was talking about the Barclays. Do y'all remember this?
A bit of success in the street.
Chat, remember what I always said about Jay-Z? Jay-Z is someone who knows how to control black people. Because Jay-Z is everybody's dream. Jay-Z is a black entrepreneur's dream. He's the drug dealer's dream, the guy who sold it, did it, and got away. He's like almost everybody's dream. When he speaks, and not only is he one of the best, he holds a lot of cultural capital. So, anyway, here we go.
And we have a club in the Barclays Center, the 4040 Club.
Now, we should look at the time. This is 2019 when this video came out. Right? Oh, was it 2019? I'm not too sure. Maybe the timing of this will make all sense to y'all, right?
That looks right out onto 560 Station. You stand in the club right in the corner. I look.
If you listen to the song Empire State of Mind, he raps 560 State Street.
See the building. I'm like, man, I lived in that building for years. I've been on the roof.
So Jay created these series of videos where I think he even goes on the subway, and when he goes on the subway, I think he sees like an old lady, and the old lady didn't even know who he was, but Jay-Z even taking the train was like a movie in itself, right? Is it in this video? I'm not too sure if it is, but I remember this rooftop video where he's basically just pointing at the Barclays as, you know, and that is one of Jay-Z's legacy. Jay-Z, and this is why he got the casino bid, if you guys, or not necessarily bid, but the casino company linked with him, because they're saying if you could have convinced the Brooklynites to sign away and take whatever money they're getting to gentrify places that they have had their entire lives, their aunts and uncles, their grandfather and great-grandfather was from those city blocks, and they would move somewhere else and abandon all their tradition and abandon all their, you know, their roots. And it could be cleared out for some big construction of some mega $1 million company that was going to change and rise the prize and push everybody out, and the sense of community would be done. If you could convince people that that's the move to do, you're a fucking powerful guy. This is why they link with him to try to get a casino in Times Square.
560 State Street, still the illegal activity.
You see the Barclays in the back right here.
And that's what I'm saying. The 4040 Club is right. You see that little.
Now, it was always like this joke about supposedly how much of, like, later when the Nets went there, how much he supposedly owned, and then you know, supposedly, like, you know, not supposedly, he definitely has a club in there, the 4040. Anyway, just interesting to know. But let's you know, apparently the Barclays naming rights, $400 million, Jay-Z Barclays. Interesting. So we know who Jess Stolley is now, right? That's the Barclays CEO at the time, right? They said, you want to know why we are not in Sao Paulo watching TV ads on the Super Bowl? It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets, they've been bought off by Jay-Z. I don't think that needs any explanation. The CEOs, should I read it slower? They're talking about a cultural change. And they're talking about now it's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. And they said the group that should be in the streets, they've been bought off by Jay-Z. Pretty interesting if you ask me. Pretty interesting. By the way, people who want to say it's fake, if you go to this page, it will absolutely link to it where you could see the actual, communication. It's an actual file. There is nothing that is fake about it, and it is what it is. That's interesting. Now, this is some more. Wow. Let's see. As we say in law, Mr. Green has arrived. TMZ reported that there's speculation. Let me see. All right. I don't know what this is. They mentioned Beyonce, but now girls come out expecting to find Tiger Woods, says Andrew Parker. It's a Thursday night and we're at CV Lounge on the Lower East Side, which is not one of the big name exclusive venues, but it has a certain cachet. Jay-Z and Diddy have stopped in to check out a private couple room. Parker is a 40-year-old dandy dressed in self-designed suit in an ebullient pocket square and tinted glasses. He used to own a clothing store on the East Side. He's mostly known for being at parties. A launch from a small batch bourbon, the premiere, whatever. Okay, interesting. There's a new breed of girls coming to the clubs, he's saying, wanting to hunt the big game like Tiger. But it's harder now than ever. Because the inverse is also true. Men have been warned by what happened to Woods. They're talking about Tiger Woods. They're more cautious when they meet a girl. They don't give last name or occupations. So it looked like this is like a cabal of like secret women who are dealing with these millionaires and billionaires. And this is after the Tiger Woods thing. And they're kind of like, these guys who are kind of help setting this shit up is like, yo, we're trying to make sure nobody gets done like Tiger. The odds of meeting an investment banker who will really take care of you are slim. Girls are more likely to run into guys like Parker. He hosts tables, which means he's sometimes a promoter, and the club will give him a table and a few free bottles with the understanding he'll bring more pretty girls. He dresses like he has money, goes out like he has money, but he doesn't really have the money they're really looking for. I've had at least a dozen girls over the past year not call me back because I don't have as much money as they thought I did. His good suit shrugs. I slept with them. I wasn't planning on marrying them anyway. If you're looking for whales, you go out on a Thursday night. Bankers go to Avenue and One Oak on Thursdays. Mainly these guys just want a girl for the night. Possibly a long weekend in Vegas or Miami. To meet these guys, a pretty girl just needs to hang around the table or wait for a VIP host or bottle waitress to pluck them from the bar and say, hey, come on over and have a drink at this booth. The girls who are more experienced at this game will already be at a table with other men. Possibly they'll be looking to trade up from traders to hedge funds or from hedge funds to celebrities. Speaking of girls to trade up, here at the table with Parker are two quotidian exemplars of who we call Kelly and Rebecca. Both are 24. They aren't models and they aren't beautiful, but they're young enough and pretty enough. Rebecca is quiet and smiling. Kelly's a freelance banker. They get to the bottom of their drinks quickly and often. Wow, what is this? Rabbit hole gets deeper, chat. I wonder if wow. Interesting, chat. Fucking interesting.
This is part of.
I'll say this, and I'm gonna be a little bit measured and cautious with some of the stuff. I actually do believe that whatever Jay-Z was in, unlike Diddy, he ended that lifestyle. I would say at least over a decade ago. I think he ended that lifestyle. And that's why, number one, when these things come out, I think he stays quiet. I think when these things come out, it also seems very shocking because that's not the light he's portrayed in anymore. Gone are the days with him rapping the lyrics about big pimping or girls, girls, girls. Those are gone. Now, granted, of course, he's a married man. But if he was still talking in that tone, such sexual deviancy, if you believe it, might be something that you're like, all right, that's not too far-fetched. At this time, we kind of look at it like, yeah, these people probably capping. And I think that's the beauty of a rebrand, because it'll have people questioning if you were even capable of doing those things. Diddy was still trying to fuck on Young Miami. We look at him like, nigga, you did that shit. Interesting. Play a couple more minutes of this, and then we're going to move on to Jermaine Cole.
One of the same deal.
I thought, no. Bear Stearns, they just said, they saved Bear Stearns and didn't save Lehman Brothers. That's
right.
it. 6 months before they had bailed out Bear Stearns. But Bear Stearns was still a zombie.
A shell of its former self.
A former self. But they had, quote unquote, saved it. They admit, why did they make the decision in your mind? Why did Hank Paulson and Bernanke, what's this concept of moral hazard? Explain to the audience what moral hazard is, and why did they save Bear Stearns?
By the way, another little side note here. I'm wondering why. I just seen it. So my Instagram post of 50 Cent posting Jay-Z, Harvey Weinstein appearing to DOJ's latest Epstein file. Keep in mind also Pusha T. And 50 says, I know I'm late on this, but it's kind of crazy. What do you do to get thrown in that mix? You guys won't see it, but Pusha T liked the post. People even comment. They said, Pusha T liked this post. I'm dying. Yeah, Pusha T actually liked this post. I don't know if I can search it, but yeah, he does. He liked the post. I see Pusha T liking this. I don't know.
Stearns 6 months before, and why did the smartest guys in the room decide not to save Lehman Brothers?
It's a good question. The real issue is I'd have to go back when you have these systems to the way your doctor responds to any type of emergency in your body. If they might decide to save your kidneys and let your gallbladder go because the gallbladder is less important to your overall system. If at that time, even it's not that long ago, the boogeyman was when said, well, what really happened? Jeffrey, what really happened? What is this financial crisis? And, some of the progressives and the right wing blame it on the banks. It was the banks' fault. And it's the fault of this very esoteric, unknown concept of derivatives. It was really the derivatives that caused this financial crisis because the derivatives got somehow out of control and in the Mickey Mouse.
And that was the way you started your road to a billionaire went right through derivatives.
Yes. But derivatives were not the cause. Derivatives were not the cause at all.
Now, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. Have some patience with me. By the way, everything we're saying here is not being stated as fact, and it's usually not usually, but it's done in an investigatory manner. It's interesting to see. Now, there's a part of this theory that Jeffrey Epstein had these connections, and also he was a spy. I know some of you might be like, nigga, what? Some people feel like he was a spy for Israel and that he was a asset. And allegedly there was rumors that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Mossad. Now, the Mossad is the Mossad is the CIA for Israel, right? Let me see if I could watch something that explains it really quickly. Let's see.
In the newly released Epstein files, there is an odd exchange going on between Jeffrey Epstein and Israel's former Prime Minister Ehud Barak, where Jeffrey Epstein asks him,
why would Jeffrey Epstein be talking to the Prime Minister of Israel?
hey, can you clear up the air and make sure you let everybody know I'm not actually Mossad? Excuse me. So,
okay. So he reached out. Okay.
So it's baffling, and it's a interesting email. Let me just go ahead and pull it up for you so you guys can see. So this was written back in 2018, December 17th, 2018. Ehud Barak, the former Prime Minister of Israel, tells Epstein, "Hi, Jeff. Are you going to be in London on Thursday?" Best, Ehud Barak. Jeffrey Epstein responds, "Unfortunately not. You should make it clear that I don't work for Mossad." Smiley face. Ehud Barak responds to that, asking you, $, or I? He probably misspelled there. You or I? ? Jeffrey Epstein responds again saying that I don't. Happy face. Smiley face. So this is kind of the exchange that we have going on. Oh, let me center my screen so you guys can see it better. There we go. And you know, if you were ever weren't convinced that Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli agent, well, there's your proof. I mean, can you also, just let them know, wink, wink, that I don't work for Mossad? What kind of exchange is this? It's like truly the way that they're just pushing everything and writing it all out on email. This among the hundreds of other files that we've seen that just clearly outwardly show, okay, this guy is an Israeli agent. This is one of the files that were released today. And then a few videos back, I made a video showing that.
Interesting. So there's a little bit more of a theory.
So maybe
I
it's a
seen
good
this guy
idea.
appear on Flagrant. He was kind of breaking it down. Let's see.
Intelligence connections
Yes,
himself.
he certainly does, as would be a surprise to all of you, as do all of the storied families of the people who are connected to the most elite private schools here in New York City. So here we have a New York Times report from 2019. Jeffrey Epstein taught at Dalton. His behavior was noticed. And what they talk about specifically is that Epstein, even here in his early 20s, is already exhibiting the pedophile behavior that he becomes known for. He starts harassing a lot of young girls, and in the span of just 1 year, finds himself basically under investigation and departs under weird circumstances after teaching math here at the Dalton School. So the question is, why did Donald Barr hire Jeffrey Epstein, a person at the Dalton School, to teach math, but despite having no credentials, no college degree? I mean, you can't even get a job at a public school without a college degree and a teacher certification.
Let me ask you
and this is the first time we see it.
Okay, so let me ask this question. This is, and I think it's important to just give pushback so we kind of understand.
Sure.
I don't even want to call it pushback. My dad had a college degree.
For the younger audience out there. So from that point forward, 1981, Epstein forms a company called IAG, the Intercontinental Assets Group. I'm going to read directly here from the description. He is a, quote, high-level bounty hunter who helps clients recover assets. This is the first entree into what will eventually sprawl as a global intelligence network, because a high-level bounty hunter who helps you recover money is not involved in, quote, legitimate business.
What does that mean, recover money?
Yeah, exactly. So it's in many cases, he eventually gets involved with people who are running Ponzi schemes and basically keeping and hiding money offshore. He sells himself, and it's very unclear because none of the records of this have ever really been released. But the description of high-level...
Okay. It's just a really deep rabbit hole, right?
It looks bleeding at the same time. What do I do first? I have to think about it as going to have people lend you money, though you are a subprime. The accounting firms, there's something in this country called GAAP accounting, which is a standard type. Yes.
Normally were.
This is the last interview you ever did at his house.
Girl, and what every one of those mathematicians,
Plotinus or Plotinus, Pythagoras, soulless. So
out of our systems run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten because they have the intelligence to deal with their local environment. So it's just different. It's not better, it's not worse, but there's many differences amongst different types of people. And so people have different intelligences. And
walk us through that.
In 1978, I think it was, across the news wire, it forms a much broader category on things so that I can
the same way, right?
That with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio, and ask them if Epstein should have helped these people.
So that's another tactic by these guys. They used to give away a lot of money. So it would sometimes have the don't look a gift horse in his mouth effect.
If we walked in, you're a mathematician. You're a mathematician. If we walked into that clinic where they're giving that money out to these people that are in the most dire straits of poverty and sickness, and told them that the money was coming from a, what are you, class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
Was tier 1's the highest and worst?
No,
I'm the lowest.
I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest. But a criminal.
Yes.
That the money came from them. What percentage of people do you estimate? I understand you don't like probabilities. Do you estimate would say, I don't care, I want the money for my children?
I would say everyone said, I want the money for my children.
Did they know where the money came from?
I think if you told them, if I told them the devil, 100%. The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember, the devil is somebody who knows.
Smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is at the number 1 or 2 archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good. Okay, that was good.
Charm was one of the terms. It had a charm. It had a.
You too.
It's like an odd conversation because they're talking about financial stuff while they're like throwing in some moral and ethics questions and like him being in jail. He has an outfit change.
The domino effect that by Thursday the financial system.
They were a general. In some of the African countries, they might have been a disc jockey, or in our country, they would have been an actor. The knowledge of money isn't. They don't have expertise. They have no degrees in finance. They really, and this is one of the major problems. That's the way our system works. And so not only do world leaders not understand banking.
And you're the financial genius here. I'm just a lowly.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's any more on this topic. I think we're good on it. We've covered a lot on it, and I'm gonna leave it there. There's some still rabbit holes to go down, but we're just not gonna just go down every single rabbit hole. That could be its own stream. Okay. You guys still up with me? You guys still rocking? I know it's 4:20 in the morning. All my smokers, I know you guys are probably, got something nice in the air. Appreciate you guys sticking up with me and staying up with me. All right. So, where are we at?